Hello there everyone! Magandang araw sa ating lahat. I hope that everyone is doing well and safe. I am Rudy and with me is my co-host.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Laarni Reaño from the Office of Student Affairs. Welcome, freshmen.
And we will be your MCs for today's activity. We are also live streamed via UPOU website and Facebook at UPOU Networks. First, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our officials, staff, and students who will be joining us today. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikibahagi sa ating programa sa araw na ito. Truly, even in the midst of this pandemic, we are called to take part of this wonderful activity virtually in order to be oriented about our university. Officials, staff, and students, welcome to the UPOU Virtual Sunduan and Student Orientation 2020. And to formally start our activity, may I invite everyone to stand up for the Philippine National Anthem. Okay, you can all have your seats. I know that some of you would have wanted to visit and see our university up front and personal, but don't worry, we prepared a special tour for you. To give you an idea what our university looks like, let's all watch the UPOU Virtual Campus Tour.
Hello, my name is Isko.
And I'm Iska. Welcome to the UP Open University Virtual Campus Tour.
For those who are wondering, yes, the UPOU has a physical and an actual campus. Although UPOU has been conducting its classes fully online since 2007, the physical campus is where its faculty members and support staff report for work.
That's right. Join us today as we take a tour of the UPOU headquarters here in Los Baños, Laguna.
Okay, let us start our tour here at the Community Hub.
This building was constructed in 2015. It serves as a venue for interaction, skills training, and idea generation and sharing among members of the UPOU community and UPOU's immediate public.
The Hub currently houses the Galeria Sinay, a gallery for exhibits and multimedia presentations, the Office of Public Affairs, Multimedia Center, Office of the Ugnayan ng Pahinungod UPOU, Office of Student Affairs, and the Pook Ugnayan.
That's right. You can also find UPOU souvenir shop and the training room at the Community Hub.
Okay, so if you pass by the UPOU headquarters again, you already know what's inside the Community Hub.
Let us now walk towards the UPOU main gate. But before entering the gate, you can see these figures standing here at the right side. Do you know what these figures symbolize?
This is actually the newly constructed UPOU marker. It is called The Culture of Sharing Wisdom or ang kalinangan ng pagbabahagi ng karunungan. It was designed and executed by Dr. Grace Javier Alfonso, UP Professor Emeritus for Film, and the former Chancellor of UPOU. It was unveiled February of this year, during the 25th anniversary celebration of UPOU.
That's great! I should check the meaning of each figure through the UPOU website later.
Yes, you should. Moving on, let us now enter the UPOU Ablation Park. Did you know that this park was officially opened to the public in February 2007, in time for UPOU's 12th anniversary?
I didn't know that, but I noticed that the UP Oblation, which stands in the middle of this park, is quite unique compared to those that I've seen from other UP campuses.
That's right. It's because the UPOU oblation stands at the center of the pedestal and appears to be lifted by a swirling ribbon. The sculpture represents UPOU's vision of widening access to education. It is a replica of Guillermo Tolentino's UP oblation and was conceptualized and sculpted by Dr. Grace Javier Alfonso.
Well, according to my research, this ribbon symbolizes the Philippine flag with stars around it signifying Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. It raises the oblation to greater heights, which is very representative of the university's ultimate goal of widening access to education.
That is correct, and of course, as inspired by the original oblation, it still represents the act of offering oneself for the service of the country.
This oblation is positioned perfectly here at the Oblation Park. If you take a look at its surroundings, you will also notice that this park is surrounded by 4 lagoons.
Do you know that the 4 lagoons are also placed there for a reason? Each one symbolizes a core value of UPOU. These core values include excellence, equity, efficiency, and humanism.
Wow, not a single spot without meaning, huh?
Surely. Let's now go to the UPOU main building. I know you are very familiar with this building since you used to go to the library to study.
Yes, that is true. And since I used to frequent the UPOU library, I've done some research on the wooden figure located in the middle of the main building. You can't miss it since upon entering the lobby of the UPOU main building, a unique and different interpretation of UP's oblation will welcome you. Designed and executed by Jerusalino Araos, the oblation is entirely made of wood and crafted using various traditional woodworking techniques.
That is interesting. From the central support, we can see the 3 structures of different colors, red, blue, and yellow, emerge symbolizing the Philippine flag and the 3 major islands of the country. Andres Bonifacio's Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa is inscribed in baybayin on the panels hanging from the central support.
So nice! On the right side of the beautiful artwork is the library, my favorite go-to place in the headquarters. I used to go here for easy access to books, and of course, for fast internet connection. But for now, you can access the books via ilive.upou.edu.ph or email them at library@upou.edu.ph.
That is right. Aside from the library, the UPOU main building houses all the administrative offices of UPOU, such as the Office of the Chancellor, Office of the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and Office of the Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration. The Office of the University Registrar is also located here on the ground floor at the left side.
I think we should go upstairs to check out the other parts of the building.
Sure, aside from the offices I've mentioned, we can also find here, on the second floor, the Audiovisual Room and Multimedia Center, or the MC Studio. The MC Studio serves as a venue for video and audio learning materials development for UPOU faculty and staff members.
Okay, so this is where they shoot the videos that UPOU students can watch for their classes.
Yes, but a bigger studio for the same purpose, called the MC Theater, is located at the UPOU office in Diliman, Quezon City.
I see. You know what? The height of this building is limited only to 3 floors so as not to obstruct the view of the Mount Makiling. Let's go check it out.
Okay, so we're now on the 3rd floor right outside the Chancellor's office. As you can see, we have a majestic view of Mount Makiling. On the 3rd floor are the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and the Faculty of Management and Development Studies.
For everyone's information, as a constituent unit of the UP system, the UPOU is led by its own Chancellor, Dr. Melinda de la Peña Bandalaria.
That's right. Just a little trivia. The first Chancellor's office was located at the Alumni Building of UP Los Baños before UPOU moved to the present headquarters. UPOU has 4 Chancellors, 3 of whom were women.
That's correct. I think we already figured out all parts of this administration building. Now let's go downstairs and see the other parts of the headquarters.
We are now here at the walk.
Well, I haven't really taken a walk here.
Why not? The walk is just located behind the UPOU main building. If you look closer, You can see that it is a network of paths designed to promote exploration of nature and active lifestyle among the members of the UPOU community. It is filled with benches from the old toilet bowls and urinals, recycled after the restrooms of the university were refurbished in 2013.
Really? Oh well, I hope we can spend some time studying here, hopefully soon. Let's see where we can go next.
Look, this is the Instruction Material and Development Printing Office. It was built in 2001. On the first floor of the building is the printing and production unit of the Office of Academic Support and Instructional Services.
I heard of this place. This is where you can find those printed modules and other teaching and learning materials.
Yes, that's right. Have you entered the first floor of this building? It houses the Oblation Hall, one of UPOU's multi-purpose areas, and where you can find the Puting Oblate. While on the second floor are the offices of the Faculty of Education and the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies.
Okay, so there are 3 kinds of oblation here at the UPOU headquarters. That's nice.
That is true. Let us now go to our last destination before ending this tour.
We are now at the Centennial Plaza, right beside the UPOU Multipurpose Hall. The Centennial Plaza is a place for recreational outdoor activities such as exhibitions, mini-concerts, and other similar events, while the Multipurpose Hall is a venue for various activities including the UPOU Family Day and sports and wellness programs.
You can also find here the UPOU Centennial Marker, a metal sculpture created by the national artist Napoleon V. Abueva. The sculpture is called The Pursuit of Education, which symbolizes the strengthening of communities in the Filipino nation, as well as education in all forms.
Over there is the Centennial Center for Digital Learning, or CCDL, where other major events of UPOU are being held.
The UPOU also inaugurated its academic residences in November 2019. Aside from that, some buildings here at the headquarters are still being furnished, such as the Teaching and Learning Hub, the World-Class Multimedia Center, and the Learning Commons.
Alright, I think that was it. We hope you enjoyed this virtual tour.
Yes, for more information about UPOU, you may visit our website at upou.edu.ph/home or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great day!
Did you feel excited to visit and see our university, especially for our new students? Maybe after this pandemic, please pay us a visit. And to proceed, let us hear the welcome messages from our university officials. First, let us hear from the UP President, Danilo L. Concepcion.
Ikinagagalak kong salubungin kayo, mga bagong scholar ng bayan, sa inyong pagpasok sa pamantasan nating hirang, ang Universidad ng Pilipinas. Kabilang kayo sa unang grupo ng mga freshie na makapag-aaral sa UP sa unang taon ng pandemya o pandaigdigang health emergency dulot ng COVID-19. Sapagkat ipinagpapatuloy ninyo ang pag-aaral sa gitna ng samot-saring krisis panglipunan, dala-dala ninyo ang bagong pag-asa bilang mga kabataang may liksi at masidhing hangarin para sa ikagagaling ng ating inang bayan. Ako ay naniniwala na tayo ay magiging magkakaagapay sa pagtahak natin sa yugtong ito ng kasaysayan ng UP, ng Pilipinas at ng buong daigdig. Ang UP ay mayroon ng sistema para sa remote teaching and learning o blended remote and face-to-face learning na ipinatutupad ngayon. Sinisikap nating matulungan ang mga higit na nangangailangan nating mga guro at mga estudyante na magkaroon ng naaangkop na connectivity para sa nasabing sistema. Ito ay ating ginagawa sa ilalim ng kaagapay sa pag-aaral ng mga scholar ng bayan o kaagapay UP program. Layunin ng kaagapay UP na mabigyan ang mga higit na nangangailangan ng gadget at connection upang magamit nila ang mga communication platform, learning management system, Zoom, Google Classroom, Edmodo, at iba pang mga paraan na ginagamit ng UP para sa ating mga remote learning courses. Inaasahan kong uunlad ang blended learning sa UP kasabay ng inyong pagyakap sa diwa ng pagiging scholar ng bayan. Maaaring sa susunod na semestre o sa susunod na taon ay mabubuksan na muli ang mga campus at makapagdaraos na ng mga klase sa ating mga silid-aralan. Pinaglalayo man tayo ng pandemya, ay pinagkakaisa naman tayo ng ating universidad sa layuning maipagpatuloy ang edukasyon sa kolehiyo upang patuloy na hubugin ang mga kabataang maglilingkod sa ating kapwa at bayan. Ang UP, kasama ang mga alumni nito saan mang dako ng daigdig sila naroon, ay nagkakaisa at nagsusumikap sa pagtuklas ng lunas at paglalapat ng mga naaangkop na solusyon sa mga sangasangang suliranin kaugnay ng pandemyang ito. Kayo ang magiging patunay na ang pandemyang ito ay hindi magiging balakid sa pagtuklas ng talino at pagkatuto. Hindi tayo susuko sa anumang hamon at hindi natin papayagang tumigil ang pag-ikot ng mundo sa panahon ng pandemyang ito. Muli binabati ko kayo sa inyong pagsisibula ng Buhay UP. Ating tandaan na ang panahon ng krisis ay isang pambihirang pagkakataon upang tayo ay lalong magpunyagi at magpakahusay. Mabuhay kayo, mga scholar ng bayan.
What an inspiring message from our president. Now, let us hear from our UPOU Chancellor, Dr. Melinda D.P. Bandalaria.
Isang pagbati at pagpupugay sa mga bagong scholar ng bayan ng UP Open University. As you start your journey as students of this university, we are aware of that mixed feeling of excitement as well as apprehension as you enter this new chapter of your life, that of being a student. Being an online learner, however, is probably not a new experience, for many of you had completed the last year in this mode of learning when schools closed during the early part of the year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Using the different gadgets and navigating the internet are skills that you had learned long time ago, and using them for learning is something that you've been doing for many years now. I can say that you are well prepared to be students of this university, which is considered to be the cyber campus of the only national university in our country, the University of the Philippines. As we start the school year 2020, your experience as students of UPOU will not be in any way different from that of other UP campuses or other universities and academic institutions in the country or even abroad, given that distance e-learning has become the only option if we are to keep you, our students, the teachers, and the rest of the university employees safe from the threat of this pandemic. The only difference is that UPOU has been set up for this mode of instructional delivery, and the staff and the teachers had been trained very well to make sure that you will succeed as online learners. There will be challenges along the way, but there are various mechanisms, tools, and platforms for us to stay connected despite the separation in physical space and time. UPOU has been set up to ensure that the quality of education that you will get will be at par or probably even better than that of your peers. Teaching and learning at UPOU has a high degree of flexibility for both the teachers and the students, which enables us to respond to the different forms of disruptions, such as the COVID-19 pandemic that we are experiencing now. Moreover, teaching and learning at UPOU has been designed to enable our students to learn not only the subject matter, but other important knowledge, skills, and dispositions deemed critical in the future world of work. Your training is not just focused on being learners of the present time, but that of being lifelong learners. Enjoy your learning journey and welcome to UPOU.
Much to our Chancellor for that wonderful message. And to know more about our UPOU officials, let us watch this video and their messages.
To all of our new freshmen and incoming UPOU students, I wish to welcome you to the university and to this year's student orientation. With your decision to pursue your academic degrees with the UP Open University comes rights and privileges, as well as responsibilities of a UP student. In this orientation, we hope to provide you with the necessary information, rules, and guidelines to help you navigate your way towards achieving a UP education and make your UPOU stay a memorable one. Allow me to congratulate you on your decision to go for an academic qualification with UPOU, and I wish you a meaningful journey with us. I hope to see you on graduation day, proudly wearing a sablay, a testament to a well-deserved UP education.
On behalf of the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration, welcome to the UP Open University and congratulations on your admission to the UPOU and on your decision to pursue your studies in spite of the challenges of this moment in our world history.
Hi students, hello. Okay. First, I'd like to welcome you to the University of the Philippines Open University, the fifth constituent of the UP system. And I would like to congratulate you for making it at UP Open University. Thank you for making UP Open University as part of your academic endeavor. We are all here now to assist you in your study, though it is the trust of the faculty to develop in you the autonomy in learning, in decision making, and in creating your own story as a student of open and distance e-learning.
Isang magandang araw sa lahat ng mga kapwa kong panghabang buhay na mag-aaral. Good morning, my fellow lifelong learners. My name is Alexander Flor, and I address you on behalf of the UPOU Faculty of Information and Communication Studies, or FICS. You will benefit from UPOU's delivery system, pedagogy, content, and assessment approaches that have been products of years of experimentation, refinement, and innovation. There is a Latin phrase for it, primus inter pares, first among equals. So to the new primus inter pares, I welcome you to the UP Open University and wish you success in your new adventure. Thank you.
Good day. Welcome to the Faculty of Management and Development Studies. FMDS is a diverse faculty with various disciplines spanning from health, environment, management, and development fields, resulting to 15 post-baccalaureate programs and 10 continuing education programs. We commend all of you for taking this opportunity to pursue further studies. As we know, we live in a fast-changing, globalized, and interconnected world. We need to be open to learning new ideas so we can make a difference, not only in our professions, but also the larger community to which we all belong.
I hope you are all moved by the uplifting messages from our officials. Maybe some of you are asking what UPOU is. Maybe some of you just noticed UPOU while riding a jeep or merely recognizing it as a special landmark here at Los Baños. But what is UPOU? The pamantasang bukas para sa magandang bukas. Let's all watch the Tatak UPOU video.
Lahat tayo'y naglalakbay. Lahat tayo'y may inaasam na destinasyon. Kanya-kanyang tinatahak. kanya-kanyang suliraning araw-araw kinakaharap. Iba't ibang estado ng buhay, magkakaibang sitwasyon, pribilehiyo, at pagkakataon. Kaya't mahahalagang hakbang ang dapat gawin upang ang dehado'y makahakbang din. Simple lang ang unang hakbang. Ito ay ang pagiging bukas. Ito ang ating adhikain, na ang posible sa iba ay maging posible sa lahat. Mandato natin ang pagbuksan ng bawat isa ng pintuan, magkakaiba man ang kinaroroonan, iba't iba man ang pinanggalingan, kakayahan, pinagdadaanan sa buhay. Lahat ay may pagkakataong makamit ang mga pangarap. Sa pamamagitan ng dekalidad na edukasyon, sa pamamagitan ng makabago at mas inklusibong paraan. Tumitindig tayong ang tunay na pagsulong ay kung saan lahat ay kalahok at walang napag-iiwanan. Ito ang ating tatak. Bukas na isip sa pagkatuto, bukas na pusong handang maglingkod. Ito ang tatak UPOU. Pamantasang bukas para sa magandang bukas.
I believe that all of you get inspired with open minds and open hearts. And as the door has been opened for you, it's now up to each one of you to make your dream possible despite of what you have been through. The university made what is possible for some be possible for all. And that's the Tatak UPOU. Now, let's all witness and take part in one of the highlights of this activity, the UPOU Virtual Sunduan Ceremony. Let's all watch this video.
Mabuhay mga scholar ng bayan. Welcome to University of the Philippines Open University.
So one phrase that comes to mind when I remember UPOU is self-study. So studying in UPOU is not as easy as you think. When I first attended UPOU in 2004, I had 2 EXT kaagad. So don't fall into that misconception of study lang yan, basa-basa lang yan.
I am Gloria Anchak at nag-aalay ng isang masaya at maalab na pagsalubong sa inyong lahat. Welcome to UPOU. I started with UPOU in 2015 and I'm now writing my thesis for my MA in Language and Literacy Education. My impressions with UPOU is that it still has similarities with face-to-face learning. Papasok din kayo sa klase. Online nga lang. The difference, I think, is that you'll have more time to prepare for your lessons.
One word na naaalala ko, ang aking experience sa UPOU is freedom. Why freedom? Dahil as compared sa ibang nagtitake ng kanilang graduate degree programs na kailangan pang umattend ng kanilang face-to-face classes, they have to travel for quite miles. Ngayon, I can clearly say na with that huge amount of freedom that we have habang naka-enroll ako sa UPOU, I think I have taken that for granted.
Para sa akin, ang UPOU ay simbolo ng moral, dangal, at husay ng bawat isko at iska at ng lahat ng bububuo sa institusyong ito sapagkat nais nating makibahagi, maging produktibo at kumatawan sa isa sa tagapaghatid at tagapagtaguyod ng dekalibre at dekalidad na edukasyon para sa lahat.
UPOU is a school of humility dahil pag pumasok ka dyan, wala kang dala-dala. You are bare at all. Pero paglabas mo sa UPOU, you are geared up with shields and armors na magiging sandata mo to be a productive citizens of the country.
So when I started UP Open University in 2004, taking up Masters in Public Health, I had this difficulty of balancing time, balancing work and study, as well as other priorities.
I started my UPOU journey taong 2015 at kakatapos ko lang nitong 2020. Kasi I focus on too many things aside from my work, my ancillary tasks, and other works outside the school.
Naging isang malaking hamon ang unang semester ko sa FED-DLLE at sa institusyong ito na sa totoong buhay, mahirap mag-adjust dahil distance learning na ito. At dito ngay marami ako naging agam-agam tulad ng baka di ko kayanin at di ko matapos ang pag-aaral, lalo na nagtuturo ako. Pero syempre nakakaya naman kung babaliwalain ko ang oportunidad. Lalo na isa ako sa scholar ng Teachers Development Program 5 ng UPOU, LGU Mauban, QPL at DepEd Quezon.
Aside from that, when I was in UPOU, I still remember I need to stick up with my study schedule religiously. You need to follow them because if not, kung hindi mo sila susundin, ay hindi ka magtatagumpay sa larangan na napili mo sa UPOU.
2005 when UPOU introduced the distance learning and online class to the Maubanin teachers as scholars of LGU, Quezon Power Plant, and UPOU under Teachers Development Program. So during that time wasn't easy to us. We do not have home internet. We do not have computer. So we have to go to the computer shop. And we're all shocked. We're all new to the word sending email. But UPOU always find ways so that we can deal and handle that kind of situation.
I knew I was a UPOU student when on my very first final exam with the university, it was an open book test and a tight deadline, a take-home open book test with a tight deadline. And I was talking to my classmates. Some of them are in different time zones and different countries. That was how I knew this was a truly unique experience as a graduate student with UPOU.
During my first term, I already felt the pressure on how I will balance the works in DepEd and as a distance education student. Dagdagan pa ng mga negative vibes. Online lang naman, madali lang naman, di naman talaga masteral yan. Those words drives me to be more dedicated. It pushes me to move further and take it as a challenge. Kung siguro naniwala ako sa kanila, baka di ko natuloy ang UPOU ko.
9 years ago, I think I can still relate with the new scholar ng bayan here in UPOU because back then, I'm also thinking if it's worth enrolling in an open university. Because during that time, there's so many people who are saying that degree earned in an online institution is very much inferior as opposed to learning or taking a degree in a residential mode or a regular program.
I would tell anyone who is entering a UPOU program to, number one, do the work. You really have to commit to doing the work and making time for it, no matter how busy it gets. And you're not alone. It will feel very lonely, but you will find your tribe.
In UPOU, you must be an independent learner.
I have some useful tips for you. 1. Familiarize yourself with your virtual classrooms and the links to the different UPOU resources. Give yourself sufficient time to prepare for your lessons so that when you need to ask questions later on, you'll still have time to revise your answers.
Kaya may papayo ko, keep the fire burning. Tuloy-tuloy lang. Walang tunay na tagumpay kung walang danas na hirap at sakripisyo sa buhay. Be the light to your kaisko at kaiska.
My advice sa lahat ng freshmen natin ngayon sa UPOU to know the reason why you enrolled here. Alam nating mahirap ibalanse ang oras kasabay ng trabaho at ng pag-aaral at ng iba pang mga bagay.
So some survival tips for you. Alright, number one is you dedicate a time na talagang mag-aaral ka. And then a space in your home or in your house or in a library or somewhere peaceful na talagang focus ka sa pag-aaral. And number three is that if you are able to recruit a partner or a friend na kasama mong mag-aaral so that someone would have to remind you na it's study time. Mas maganda pag classmate mo para so that you could check and balance together and you achieve your goals together. Good luck!
Of the UPOU Virtual Sunduan, and may you learn from their experiences and tips that they have given. And as we take part of this ceremony, especially you, students of UPOU, alumni, have toured you around with this knowledge, endless learnings, and wonderful people that you will encounter or encountered on your stay here at UPOU. And those things, those memories, will always bring you back to our beloved university. Thank you so much for all of the UPOU alumni who are with us today. Maraming salamat po. And share with us her experiences as an alumna of the UP Open University. Let us all welcome the newly elected president of the UPOU Alumni Foundation, Inc., Miss Mia Marcy.
All right. Hello and good morning, everyone. Last time I was here on the webinar for UPOU, na-disconnect ako. Let us hope that this does not happen. And if that does happen, we'll have to take it from the top. But I will not keep you for now. So hello and welcome, new students of UP Open University. My name is Mia Marcy, and I was one of you back in year 2015 when I got into UPOU's Diploma in Language and Literacy Education program under the Faculty of Education. Now, before you wander off, because I know that some of you are probably doing that right now to go to your group chat, your chores, or even children, pets, this much, please hang on and look at the screen. This much you need to hear. Choosing to study in UPOU in the year 2020 is the better, if not the best decision you will make at this time. UPOU has been at this since 1995. Their programs are not in transition. It is 25 years old. It was established at the time, it was mentioned earlier in the video from the UP alumni, that you needed a dedicated landline and PC setup to connect to the internet. Can you imagine that? The idea of pocket-sized connectivity, reading off the phone, was unheard of way back when. Again, UPOU was not made to answer to an emergency. It has evolved from wanting to make learning as accessible as possible to those who need it. It was made for that. I've been saying this for some time now. What is the new normal to the rest of the world is our normal, just with new challenges. Now, let's go back. I don't know for some of you how old you were, what you were doing in 2015. I was working as a writer in a corporate setting. And that year, I had decided to pivot, make a change, because I was working as a writer till then and spent a few years in an ad agency writing, we call it copy,
stuff na for coffee creamer, feminine products, detergent, hotel stays, yung mga just do it, think differently, milk in my cereal, coffee mate in my coffee. Hindi ako yung nagsulat niyan. I did not write that. I wish I did. But I tutored people on the side in English and creative writing and found that people and me were happier when I was a teacher. But to be a teacher, I needed to go back to school. I didn't have the time or resources then for fixed class schedules in a physical classroom, not with a day job with set hours. And I couldn't afford to really do full-time learning. But my friends had come from the UPOU Associated Arts program, and they were also working students. They had beautiful portfolios, and they had good things to say about the program. So that was why I chose UPOU, and I took the leap in year 2015. I didn't really think about how I was going to learn while online. I just knew it was a school, it was online, and I needed it for a career that I wanted. Now, I admit, and in the video, I did say that it felt very lonely at first. It was me and my readings, and my classmates were names on the screen and a fixed photo. We were discouraged from using smileys and emojis. We only had guide questions to answer and our own words. As I was already teaching at a private university around the time that I started studying UPOU, I was already seeing the role of the teacher evolve from talking head at the front of the room to that of a coach or facilitator. In a typical UPOU class, I was seeing that online. We read by ourselves. We clarified, shared, and discussed insights with our classmates and groupmates. And there were closing modules, we called them, where we would hear from the teacher the highlights of that discussion after we had studied, discussed, and challenged each other's ideas. Our teacher was present, but the learning content took center stage. It was no longer just about sitting there and memorizing. We were learning, we were thinking. And soon, we did make friends. These are some of the stories behind the profile pictures that I saw in Moodle. Someone else was making a pivot on his own. He was a BPO agent and he really wanted to be a teacher. He's still taking programs now. There are DepEd facilitators and staff from all around the Philippines. They were working in their areas and checked in every so often. There was a former Philippine public high school teacher who ended up teaching English in Japan, and a married couple also in Japan in a different English language center. They took the program together so that they could get more opportunities at work to advance, especially in their company. You also saw, if you were here and saw the video earlier, Ate Glo, who is also part of the board of UPOU FI. And she had always wanted to get an MA degree and then found in her mid-50s at the time, or late 50s, I'm not sure anymore. She looks so young. She finally found the time to work towards her MA and is on the road to completing it at long last. These are only a handful out of some 50 students in my program's batch over the years. And I've met some of them, and we don't feel like strangers. So as students transition into online learning, there's been noise about how it isn't as effective, it's disconnected, etc. But UPOU has evolved with new definitions of how we learn and how we connect over the years. It has, as I mentioned earlier, adapted. And here, as a student of UPOU as well, you learn to adapt and adapt quickly. We need that in a time of pandemic. And yes, it is harder than it should be, but UPOU, UP has always soldiered on. Welcome to our community. We welcome you, not just as new students. We welcome you to grow with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Marcy, for sharing with us your journey. And I believe that you have been an encouragement for all of the students who are with us today. We also invited one of our graduate students to share his experiences He is currently taking the Master of Arts in Nursing under the Faculty of Management and Development Studies, an offshore student based in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Let us all welcome Mr. Arsenic Manlangit.
Good morning and welcome fellow UPOU students. Ako po si Arsenic Manlangit, isang fourth-year Master of Arts in Nursing student at kasalukuyang nasa Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Andito po ako para i-share ang experience ko sa UPOU. Ang experience ko ay maikukumpara ko sa kung papaano ang isang diamante o diamond ay nabubuo. Diamond is formed under extreme temperature and pressure. Similarly, I also experienced the extremes. There were a lot of pressures and mostly these were coming from myself. There were also a lot of sleepless nights, adjustments, and challenges in time management. Online distance education is different from face-to-face or classroom type of learning. Learning in UPOU is self-directed. The advantage of this type of learning is I studied at my own pace and time. I study during my off days and whenever there's a free time while I am at work. I also study whenever I feel I am receptive to learn. Hindi ko pinipilit yung sarili ko pag may mga time na wala ako sa mood mag-aral. So if you feel like deviating from your study habits once in a while, don't feel guilty. The challenge for me with this type of learning is whenever I want to clarify something, it will take some time for me to get answers because I communicate mainly through email. Time management. In terms of time management, I printed a calendar and wrote all the things I need to accomplish for a certain week. In this way, I am able to track my progress and know when I need to double my time. Also, my tip for you is to print the course guide. The course guide contains all the expectations for the whole semester, such as the exams, faculty marked assignments, topics for each week's, grading system, and some may contain links for references that you may need for that semester. There were also instances when I had to double my time because it is almost the end of the semester and I still have enormous paperwork to accomplish. My tip for you is not to give up. I think every student will experience this at some point. Also, prioritize the requirements with the most weight. I always check the course guide and see which requirement will receive the most grade or which one has a point deduction for late submission, and I write it first. For your thesis writing, start to think of your would-be research topics as early as you can. I am not pressuring you, but this comes in handy once in a while, once you will write your proposal. And as a nurse kasi, I was also trained to be one step ahead of the situation. So, nadadala ko siya kahit sa pag-aaral ko. Ang diamante ay binubuo ng carbon atoms. So, carbon atoms can bond in diverse ways, one in which it may form into a diamond. I also liken myself to a carbon atom. UPOU taught me to be more disciplined and be more patient. I also became more flexible and adaptable, similar to how a carbon atom behaves. I also met other carbon atoms and formed bonds between each other. They too behaved much like a carbon atom. We also shared similar goals and inspired each other para makuha namin ang inaasam-asam na sablay. Diamonds are formed billions of years and is rare and difficult to find. Similarly, it took me 4 years to complete my studies. Kaya I learned to be more patient and resilient. Ika nga nila, matamis ang tagumpay kapag pinaghihirapan. Pero dumating din ako sa point na gusto ko na mag-give up. Sa mga panahong ito, binalikan ko lang kung ano yung mga goals ko. Diamond is considered to be the hardest natural material with many applications in major industries. Masasabi ko na pinatibay din ako ng UPOU. All the challenges I faced helped me to become a better person and a professional nurse. Kaya, ang pag-aaral ko ay hindi lang para may maikabit na titulo sa aking pangalan, kung hindi para din sa pang-araw-araw na pakikisalamuha ko sa aking mga pasyente. Kaya sa inyo ng mga UPOU students, I hope that your journey will be equally challenging and fun. Kasi this will help you turn into the hardest and precious gem. And that is the diamond. Hashtag susuka, pero hindi susuko.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arsenic, for sharing your experiences and for some study tips. Truly, education knows no boundary. UPOU is dedicated to providing every Filipino access to quality higher education wherever you are. And for the last person to share, he is a fourth-year student and currently taking Bachelor of Arts in Multimedia Studies under the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies. Let us all welcome Mr. Kaiser Philip Ancajas.
Hello, what's up? Although I am not the first, let me welcome you again to UPOU, not as the person who had fought and had overcome this battle, but as someone that would fight with you in your journey. And so, again, congratulations. And now that my formal introduction is done, maglalagay na ako ng Tagalog sa words ko. And ito yung second time na I get to share my experience with new students. And although I am unsure of my own capabilities, sometimes I wonder that if I am good enough to share my experiences. But then again, UPOU gives us the opportunity to explore ourselves. And yet again, they have provided me with another chance to do so and to share and reach out to people like you. So moving on, I guess it works like that because what UPOU gives us is time and again, the opportunity to find our priorities and fight for them. And I am a working student as well, and granted, I know that I'm sure that all of you are facing your own kind of battles right now, and I want to say that I respect you. I respect you because I respect you for trying to pursue your studies at times like these. And I want to tell you that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. And what makes it better is that you have people going with you right now, especially with this online setting. And as an online student for this amount of years, because well, technically I'm fourth year, pero I'm shy, because I faced a lot of battles and challenges alone. This is distance education. This is UP, and this is UPOU after all. And I have to do the best that I could to deal with these assignments, this quiz, this final project. And sad to say, by believing in myself, by believing that I can do everything alone, it's by believing that this is the true UP experience. It wasn't long before I burned myself out. It was a heart-wrenching experience where I would stare at the ceiling, believing that something is wrong, and telling myself that, telling myself even that everything is fine, everything is fine, everything is fine. And it didn't take me a while again to see my life as something that is pre-programmed to move on from one task to another. And with that, the fire inside me, my passion, burned out. Now, tell me if for those people na walang grilling pans when we're cooking meat, there's a certain experience where I would go and to the nearest sari-sari store to buy some charcoal or uling so that I could grill something. And we're here to talk about that specifically because you see, those pieces of charcoal when lit up so we could cook some meat would burn brighter and hotter when they're sticking with each other. And that's you. The moment you distance yourself from others, your passion, your drive to towards your goal would become weaker as well. And that would happen a lot. It might be happening to you right now with a different context, of course. And remember the part when UPOU gave me the opportunity to explore and find myself? I want you to do that too. Because this is the time and the part where I learned that, yes, I can do things alone. Yes, I can do things if I try hard enough. And sometimes it's better to talk to people and see them in a way na they would encourage you and suffer with you through your battles. And I don't want you to reduce UPOU like a glorified to-do lists of assignments, quizzes, final projects, where you would jump from one task, one subject to another to get your diploma. I want you to treat this as an adventure. Yes, it has ups and downs. Sometimes you would feel like everything's so easy that you're flying in the air. And sometimes, well, most of the time, you would feel that you're being drowned and wanting to post a sublay where you spread your arms and beg for the skies to take you and free from your sufferings. But I want to tell you that this is worth it. This is worth fighting for, and you could be selfish and find some things, maybe keep a hobby or two that would make this adventure fun. Remember that being in UP, being in UPOU, or being in a distance education setting doesn't mean that you have to be alone. I want you to encourage, I want to tell you that there's a good community out there, a good community of students, good students beyond your screen that UPOU has nurtured. And although it could be hard, all it takes is for you to search for their name and say hi. And again, as a student that has been fighting this battle, and I want to tell you and encourage you that what you're about to face is a challenge. What you're about to face is a hard battle, and let no one, even yourself, tell you otherwise that it's not hard. Make some friends that would suffer with you, and make this adventure of yours a tale that you would tell your friends, your family, your future partners, as a brilliant reminder of how hard and how hard you suffered and how it was worth it. Yun lang. Thank you.
Thank you so much, kay sir. And for all of you who share their wonderful experiences, napansin ko lang parang trending yung ating hashtag, susuka pero hindi susuko. I know that many of our participants today can relate to your journey. And as you reflect about these sharings, we hope that you also understand that as students, there are also expectations from you. And to share his perspective as UPOU faculty in charge on what to expect from a UPOU student, let us all welcome the Associate Professor and Program Chair of the Bachelor of Arts in Multimedia Studies program under the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies, Dr. Diego S. Maranan.
Good morning, new students. Hello, my name is Diego Maranan, and I am an Associate Professor at the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies, as well as the Program Chair of the BAMS program. My task this morning is to speak on behalf of all your future teachers and tutors at UPOU, which is a bit of a challenge, but I will do my best. And my goal is to share with you what we think students should know and to let you know what we expect from you. So we expect that your lives will be complicated. We understand that. So we will do our best to structure the courses to accommodate the different kinds of schedules that you probably follow. However, we do expect you to participate fully in the class and to carve out time for your studies. This means at the very least regularly checking your course sites, the discussion fora, the announcements at least once a week. There are a few things more annoying to us teachers than having a student privately email us about a question that has been addressed sometimes multiple times in the discussion forum. We expect that you are here because you want to be here. In the last undergraduate student orientation that I conducted, I had an incoming BAMS student ask me what courses they were going to take or they should take so that they could, as quickly as possible, transfer out of UPOU to another UPC as quickly as possible. You know, if that's the mindset you have, UPOU is probably not a good match for you. And you may not do here, you may not do well at all here. So if you don't want to be here, we don't want you to be here either. We want you, to find a really good match for where you are in life. While your teachers and staff will remind you of when things are due as much as we can, We expect you to know and to respect deadlines, not just for your coursework, but even for other things like enrollment, when you should drop classes or apply for a change of matriculation, or all these administrative things. And this is really coming more from my perspective as program chair. And there's a few reasons for this, for asking you to really pay attention to deadlines. For one thing, meeting deadlines ahead of time is a good thing. It's a good practice to cultivate. It also helps your teachers and the staff with our work. There was recently a popular news article that made the rounds on social media that presented evidence that for online learning, the optimum class size is 12. Some of our classes have close to 250 students. So as you can imagine, our workload can be quite severe. Not only do we teach undergraduate courses, but we also supervise undergraduate and graduate research work. We develop new courses, we refine existing courses. We do a lot of administrative and bureaucratic work that is really meant to support you. So if you can help us help you, that would be a good thing for everyone all around. There will be a lot of reading, and I mean a lot. Your ability to read technical and academic texts is like a muscle, as Assistant Professor Roja Rivera, one of the faculty at FED, the Faculty of Education, had once pointed out. You have to exercise your ability to read in order to build it and to maintain it. The more you read, the better you become at reading. We don't expect you to be pros right away. It will take time. But we do expect you to actively cultivate your ability to read long-form writing. We expect you to be independent, have self-initiative, have self-discipline. I think the previous speakers have already said this. This means, for example, that you will need to cultivate excellent study skills. It also means that you should expect neither your teachers nor your classmates to remind you of things that have been covered in course already, to remind you of deadlines, for example, or material that was taken up a couple of weeks back. That said, we do expect you to help each other out. If you help each other out, not only does this make your teachers' lives easier, but you'll be able to form social bonds with your classmates, despite the distance, despite the differences in time zone. There is help available from your staff and faculty. The only thing we do ask you to do is to reach out to the right person as much as possible for what you need. So for example, don't ask your program chair or your faculty in charge for help on how to access your UP email if you've forgotten your password. There is specific help available for that. There are limits to helping each other out though, and we expect you to maintain the highest levels of academic integrity and intellectual honesty. One of our faculty members used to have a reminder printed out on almost every page of his teaching materials. It is better to fail with honor than to succeed by fraud. If you cheat your way through a course or through your degree, you'll be doing yourself a disservice and letting down not just your teachers, not just yourself, but every single one of your classmates who have fought very hard to be where they are and to deliver quality content every single time. We expect you to be respectful of each other, to read up and follow all acceptable codes of conduct that are applicable to your time at the university. This means no hate speech, no sexism, no racism, no homophobia. Please be the kind of decent human beings that you would be online as you would be offline. As the Chancellor pointed out earlier, in these extraordinary times in which online learning is becoming the practice in many parts of the world, you will be seen as role models. Your studies are subsidized by taxpayer money, and you are accountable not just to yourself, not just to your family, but to the nation, to the taxpayer. Keep that in mind as you go through your studies. Finally, maximize the opportunities that are available to you. For example, the UPOU library provides digital access to specialized databases. The Office of Student Affairs is currently developing its capacity for student counseling. Make use of them. This is a lot to take in, but you will have time to figure it out and you will make mistakes. But as Kaiser pointed out earlier, treat this as an adventure. So welcome to your new adventure. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diego. And I hope that it all adds to your excitement as you start your adventure this school year. So before we proceed, just a quick announcement. For those of you who are viewing via UPOU website or FB at UPOU Networks, and you have some questions or maybe some study tips that you would like to hear from our speakers, please post it on the comment section for our question and answer portion later. Again, for those of you who are viewing via UPOU website or UPOU FB Networks, and you have some questions or maybe some study tips you would like to hear from our speakers, please post it in the comment section for our question and answer portion later. And to proceed with another highlights of our program for today, the launching of the student orientation site. I know some of our new students have a lot of inquiries regarding the offices and support services at UPOU. And through accessing and navigating the site, you will be oriented about those services and other important and useful information about our university. To help us more about it, let us watch this video.
Welcome to the University of the Philippines Open University, or UPOU. As new students of UPOU, we will orient you with the necessary information and processes you need to know as part of your journey at the university. The student orientation site, which is found in My Portal, will serve as your orientation material to know more about your university and how open and distance e-learning or ODL works. It will also assist you in how to cope with your studies and orient you with the different programs and student services available. In this video, we will walk you through the student orientation site. First, you need to log into My Portal. The UPOU student orientation will be one of your enrolled courses. The first information you will see at the site is about UPOU and open and distance e-learning. You may watch the short videos about UPOU and about the ODL framework in order to be more familiar about UPOU and its mode of teaching and learning. You will also be given tips on how to be organized as a distance learner and the needed online study skills to get you ready in your studies. Let us discuss the different support services and platforms that will help you in your study. The first support services you have availed of even before you became an official student of the university is information support. Information support is provided through the UPOU website, ticketing services, automated support, and social media pages. Let's discuss My Portal. My Portal is your virtual classroom where you can access all your courses and other relevant information needed in your studies. It is where you interact with your faculty in charge or FIC and fellow learners, as well as submit your assignment and other course requirements. The UPOU Networks is the online repository of multimedia resources produced by UPOU. It is intended to make learning more accessible to a larger community. Another part of the student services is the library. Library support provides you with access to electronic databases, as well as access to physical books and resources. Now, let's focus on the student services provided by the Office of Student Affairs. The office provides information, advice, and guidance to students regarding their psychosocial, financial, emotional, and academic needs and concerns when studying at UPOU. The Office of the University Registrar is another office that will provide you with assistance from enrollment to graduation. It is responsible for student admissions to registration, grade reporting and transcript of records generation, and maintenance of academic records. Now, let's talk about your faculty offices. The Faculty of Education is one of the degree-granting units of the University of the Philippines Open University, mandated to offer degree programs in teacher training, design and deliver new programs that reflect the expertise of UPOU, and are responsive to teacher education needs. The unit aims to maintain a system of continuing education to sustain professional growth and promote lifelong learning to both degree and non-degree programs and instructional packages appropriate to distance learners. The Faculty of Information and Communication Studies is committed to advancing scholarship in information and communication studies in Southeast Asia by spearheading the evolution of an integrated information and communication science, developing innovative information and communication programs, trailblazing in research exploring the social impact of information and communication technology, piloting innovative applications of information and communication technologies through a proactive extension program that would cater to the needs of the development assistance sector. The Faculty of Management and Development Studies is a collection of various disciplines spanning from health to the environment to management and to the development studies. It deals with policy, program, and development concerns related to environment and natural resources management, land valuation, research and development, nursing, international health, social work, and public management. The other offices which may take part in your journey as a student are the Office of Gender Concerns and the Ugnayan ng Pahinungod. Again, welcome to UP Open University and good luck on your journey as a UPOU student.
Students will just need to log in on your MyPortal account and you will be given access to the site. For new students, I know you have a lot of questions and clarifications regarding those support services mentioned. So we will be having a separate venue for that on September 18, 2020. An invite for the said activity will be sent through your email addresses. Okay, so we will proceed to the question and answer portion. Again, for those of you who have questions and maybe some study tips you would like to hear from them, please post your questions on the comment section provided. So do you have any questions? Please post it now. Okay, so while we are waiting for some questions, so again, we will be having a different venue for our question and answers sa mga faculty offices. So that's on September 18, 2020. And as I noticed, trending yung ating hashtag, susuka pero hindi susuko. And I hope you learn from our alumni and for those who share their experiences as students of the UP Open University. Okay, so one of the questions po, is the exam online too? So may we ask Dr. Diego to answer that?
Generally speaking, everything is online, even your exams. In the past, we had some faculty who would conduct face-to-face exams. So that may still happen, in which case you would arrange some kind of sit-down exam, as they called it, or proctored exam. However, during the pandemic, I guess this is not going to be possible at all. So expect everything to be done online.
So I guess another question here is, what if habang nasagot sa online exam, mawalan po ng kuryente at mawalan po ng internet? Ano po ang dapat gawin ng estudyante? So siguro naka-experience nito. So Case, ano ba yung ginawa mo, Kaiser, nung nawalan ka ng internet? What did you do as a student?
Well, pag ganyan, I am blessed with good teachers na could understand us. Minsan kasi ang nangyayari is they would be giving us enough time to like answer it, and merong worst case scenario is I had to use my phone and answer the exams. So yun lang.
Let's hear to our alumna, Miss Mia.
Yeah, I'm sure that this also applies with some final exams. There are teachers that tell you if the exam is timed, like if you have to take it in one sitting. And there are other exams I mentioned earlier that are take home. But also, like what Kaiser said, the teachers would find ways to accommodate you. Interns are online, they're timed, um, and there are ways around if your internet fails. And some of them are designed in a way to make sure that you can still pass even if your internet fails.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Mia. And some questions here are regarding to the services of UPOU. Again, we will be having a separate venue on that on September 18. So just keep on mind yung mga questions nyo. Okay, another here. I am a freshman student. Are we allowed to download references or ebooks in the library? Okay, so we invited our library support staff sa September 18 and I think siya yung makakasagot nito. So we are hoping that you will be there sa ating susunod na activity. So is there any other questions from our students? For Dr. Diego, is there a timeline for completing certain modules? I noticed that only module 1 for MAS is accessible through my portal right now, and the rest of the modules are, sorry.
Yeah. So the question is for a specific course, I'm guessing MAS, only one module is accessible, the other modules aren't up yet or accessible yet. This is really up to the teacher, to the faculty in charge. Every teacher has a different way of teaching their courses, so please coordinate with them.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Diego. So some of the questions here, again, we may refer this to the support services staff of the UPOU, like the library, the ICTDO about the model and the My Portal, books from the borrowing books from the library. Okay, so we will be having a separate venue for these questions on September 18. Okay, so is there anyone from our students who would like to ask to those to our speakers today about their experiences or some study habits, study tips? Okay, so I think most of the questions here are for the services of the UPOU. Okay, meron pa pong question. Hi, I would like to ask which programs will merit a sublime after completion of their degrees? Maybe we hear from Dr. Diego?
I'm not sure, but I think if you finish a program at UPOU, whether it's undergraduate program, an associate of arts program, a graduate program, you can all get a sublime. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can actually just buy a sublime anywhere, right? And so you can get a sublime anywhere. But wearing it and knowing that you deserve to wear one is a different matter altogether.
So this one, is there a meetup session virtually done with prof and students or everything module based? Again, is there a meetup session virtually done with prof and students or everything module based?
I can answer this. It really depends on your teacher. Every teacher will teach their course differently. Some will do the entire course asynchronously, which means all the communication is done through discussion fora, but some will have synchronous meetings.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Diego. How many total hours of classes per day? I think it depends. Miss Mia, how about your experience?
Um, under lockdown, time feels really relative. Um, I will say I didn't measure it by time. We were given deadlines, a lot of our teachers, but I speak from the DLLE post grad program. So what they did was, let's say there was a major submission several weeks ahead. There was a discussion forum that we had 4 weeks to complete, and we had anywhere from like how many, like average number of readings to have that addressed all those. So it's not the way that most of us know school to be, like 8 to 9 is English, 9 to 10 is math. It doesn't work that way. You base it on deadlines. There is flexibility. So it's entirely up to you. It is on you when to learn. Um, but there are non-negotiable deadlines to be met to show that you have learned.
Okay. Thank you so
I can
much,
also,
Miss Mia.
I can
Yes,
also
Dr.
answer.
Diego.
In a typical residential face-to-face learning setting, you might meet 3 hours a week for the course, but then you will be assigned reading anyway, and you'll end up spending 2 hours reading a piece of text that you have to prepare for the next course. So this is not any different than that. There is the time that you allocate to reading the course content, the study guide, answering discussion fora, but then there's the readings that you actually have to do, and that will take time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diego. And this question is for Kaiser. How do you socialize with your course mates? Baka ma-miss out po kasi ng UOU students. How do we hang outs with them?
For that one, depende sa circle of friends mo. Meron kasing meron mga time yung students gumagawa sila ng groups for that, specifically for the subject, and that's minsan meron gagawa din sila ng step up sila to make group chats where you could like chat and send memes to each other. And that's when everything starts. You would try sending memes one day, and the next day they would ask you to play games, and that's usually how it goes. You spend time with them online. Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from our alumna, Miss Mia.
I wouldn't have thought it was possible, because the idea of, let's say, the virtual meetings with teachers, that's new for me, because all of my teachers were asynchronous, meaning that it was all on our time and schedule at magpaparamdam sila to give feedback or update on yung module. That being said, eventually we meet them. There are opportunities, usually in your virtual classroom, to chat, use emoji, memes, like what Kaiser said. So I've even met my overseas classmates when they would come in, because we do group work together. Discussion boards are done by groups. Sometimes there are group projects, and inevitably that will go into whatever messaging app you like, and then we're bonding, we catch up, and that's how it goes.
Okay, so let's hear naman po sa ating offshore student. How do you hang outs with your classmates or Arsenic?
Sa kaso ko po, sa MAN, may mga times kasi na kailangan namin pumunta sa Philippines para magkaroon ng exposure sa mga hospital. So, during that time, yun din yung time namin para mag-hang out, mag-bond, and magtulungan na rin sa mga assignments. And then may mga projects din kami during that time pag nag-duty sa exposure sa mga ibang hospital. So, yun yung time namin para mag-hang out. And then, ito din sa Saudi, pag may mga time, pag off, nagsabay-sabay. So, yun din yung time namin para lumabas at mag-usap-usap. And then regarding din po sa sa tawag nito, sa mga for example, may mga questions about mga projects, sa experience ko din po, very helpful yung mga professors ko whenever may mga clarifications ako. I just send email to them, and then they will always answer me back, and then they will provide me also yung mga advice kung paano mag-go through sa mga projects, and especially during the time na nag-thesis ako. So yes po.
Thank you so much, Sir Arsenic, for that. Ito, a wonderful question siguro. Lahat ito tinatanong kapag estudyante ka. Do professor provide mentorship or advice for student projects? Sir, paano pag ganito? Ma'am, paano po pag ganito? How about your experience, Kaiser? Have you tried to ask your professor about advice?
A lot. And this is one thing I'm thankful for, because the teachers that we have are patient. You can try your best, and sometimes I wonder if I'm annoying them, but thankfully they're very professional as well, and they would actually give you good advices regarding your projects. But then again, remember that they're teachers, teachers to all of you, not just one of you. So try to practice self-independence as well. Yun lang.
I can answer that as well.
Okay, Dr. Diego.
So for the BAMS program, and I think for the BEST program as well, you will have a capstone project. And this is a 2-term, 6-unit project that you'll have to work on in order to complete your degree. And you will be assigned an advisor to that. So you will get mentorship for that. I'm not sure about the Associate of Arts program, but certainly for all the other graduate programs, especially the doctoral programs, of course, you would have an advisor.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Diego. And for some of the questions regarding the schedule of exams, so we invited, it's one of the support services of the OSA, and we will be joining by the support staff of the exam services on September 18. And I think masasagot po itong mga tanong regarding sa exams. So ito po, based on historical data, what is the average completion pace time for graduate students who are also working full-time? So I think let's hear to Miss Mia.
Okay, I'm not privy to the data that's from the university. I don't know if Sir Diego would have actually looked at the reports and statistics behind that. But I am a full-time teacher, and I also have, like, it's a gig economy day, so small stuff on the side. So it was like I was working full-time. For the DLLE program, I finished it in 3 years. I think if I was fully dedicated to it and that was my only, if I wasn't working, I would have finished it in 2 years. But it took me around, 2018, I graduated the DLLE program.
Thank you so much, Miss Mia, for that wonderful sharing of yours. Another question here. Does the university provide an ID? How do they get help on UP email issues? Again, like what Dr. Diego said, there's a separate support services for this. So we can discuss this po on September 18. We invited the ICTDO and the OUR.
Can I also say something about that?
Okay, po, Dr. Diego.
So one of the questions here was, does the university provide an identification card? And yes, this will be answered later on. There was a question about having their UP emails activated. The UP email, your UP email is issued by someone from the UP system, not UPOU, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a help desk that you can contact for that, and you will need to coordinate with them directly. Unfortunately, this is out of UPOU's hands.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Diego. So do we still have any other questions from our students? So again, we will have a different venue for your questions regarding the support services on September 18. So I think wala na po tayong mga questions or iniisip pa ng ating mga students para sa September 18, iniipon na nila. Okay po, so thank you so much And I know that you still have a lot of questions in your mind, especially for our new students. Oh, I think this one is a good question too. Any tips for those who are writing their thesis? Would like to hear from Dr. Diego.
I think actually a better person to ask, better people to ask would be students and alumni. But I do know that there is a UPOU Networks video, a webinar done by Dr. Felix Librero precisely on this topic. He might have done a few actually. But I think, the students are in a better position. Students and alumni are a better position to handle this. I don't know, maybe Mia or Arsenic or.
I haven't started my MA program proper. I'm still due to take the comprehensive exam for that. Hopefully when this pandemic gets less urgent. But thesis writing, online or offline, is always a challenge. So it's not a matter of the platform. And I say that because I'm an English teacher from Ateneo also. And graduate, it's really a matter of dedicating time to write it. I see here that there are opportunities through POU. There's an FICS chat every Friday. There, of course, stay in contact with your advisor. And also look out for policies, the residency policies, with regards to finishing that thesis. I mean, the old joke about how it takes 7 years to graduate a UP program, that came from the Diliman, and I think that's universal wherever you go.
Okay, so let's hear from our offshore students. Sir Arsenic, any tips for those who are writing their thesis?
Mga tips na maipapayo ko po, number one, yun nga, mas maganda na as early as possible may maisip ng mga would-be research topics. Like in my case, nung nagsimula ako, may mga naisip na akong mga topics. So doon na umikot yung research ko. And then, hindi ako masyadong nahirapan kasi doon na ako nagsimula. And maganda din na to always keep in touch with your teachers kasi, with the professors kasi, every time na may mga questions ka, they would help you. And then, yun nga, isa sa mga naging challenge is, since offshore ako, hindi kagaya ng face-to-face na madali ko lang makuha yung questions. I mean, yung answers sa mga questions ko. So, yun lang, always keep an open communication either through email or pwede rin mga informal like through messenger kung for example, inallow ng professor. So, yun. And then, mas maganda din na may mga circle of friends talaga kasi at least sila yung magbibigay sa iyo ng mga advice kung paano mag-go through. Yung mga may experience na previously, sila yung magbibigay ng tips. And then, yun lang naman.
Okay, so regarding those thesis or dissertation, so you can access it from the UPOU networks, FICS chat with Dr. Lex Librero at UPOU Networks website. So there's a series of video lecture there about thesis and dissertation writing. So thank you so much.
Can I also say something about that? Last na lang.
Okay, Paul.
So last word of advice for me on thesis writing. Whether you are in a brick and mortar university or in an online situation like at UPOU, thesis writing, dissertation is inherently a lonely task because you are beginning. I see Mia nodding. Because you are increasingly becoming the specialist of. You are becoming the specialist of the topic that you're writing on. And so it will actually be very hard to talk about this to anyone other than your advisors. So one thing I would suggest is to find a support group of other people in your graduate program to just vent or to complain about the difficulties that you're facing or to celebrate any times when you've overcome an obstacle. And the other thing is you really need to love your thesis, your research. Because if you do not love what you're doing, it'll be a long, hard slog through the writing process. But again, yeah, there is that FICS chat lecture by Dr. Librero on the UPOU networks. There are a few more questions, I think.
Okay, so it's also good for our students to attend some webinars every week. Our future research series, masterclass, let's talk it over sessions and education. I know guys, marami kayong matututunan dito. You just have to access the UPOU networks for that. And also the EduHack. Please join our webinars sa EduHack. Okay, some of the questions here are regarding sa subjects, grades. I think we can discuss this on September 18. We invited the Office of the University Registrar for that. So I think that's a good venue to ask it. So again, if we don't have any questions regarding any study tips or about the sharings of our speakers for today,
should we?
Don't worry if you have a lot of yes, Doc Diego.
There's a question here about PE classes and community service, and how this will be done during the pandemic. I think it's worth answering because this.
Okay.
There are a lot of incoming students here, and so it's not just program specific. PE classes and CWTS, community service, they're all done online. They always have been. The PE courses are not, and that's not problematic. You will never have to do a PE course that requires you to be, playing a sport with 7 other people. There is no like basketball, remote basketball at UPOU. The PE courses have been designed for individual learners who can do these courses on their own time without any other help or without having to interact with other people in a sports kind of setting. The CWTS question, that I'm not really in a position to answer that. So these 2 courses are handled by the Faculty of Education. And you're right, it is an interesting challenge. How do we do community service during this time? I think it is possible, and we should see this as an opportunity to really examine how we can provide a service to the community, to the nation, to the international community as well in this time. Because there are many ways in which we can help different kinds of communities, our local community, our national community, the regional community, through through service. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing the answers that come out of this question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diego. And I heard, Kaiser, you have your PE yoga class. Can you share it to us?
Oh no. Okay, so for those who are wondering how we do PE, we do it in quite a few interesting ways. One is we've had chess. We play with other people online for our PE, and for those sinabi ni kay Rudy, yeah, we've had yoga, and it's quite embarrassing for me to tell because I have trouble showing myself in front of a camera, and it's much more of an experience when I have to pose yoga forms in front of a camera and while playing some music. And yun lang. So for those who are worrying if they would go outside during PE times, don't worry. We will accommodate you and look forward to the PE classes.
Si Miss Mia, napapansin ko, napapatawa siya dito. How about you, Miss Mia?
I'm with the graduate program, so wala na yung PE requirement. But I'm learning this for the first time, and I want to stress again, UPOU has done this for longer. I'm guessing kay Kaiser, he did that before pandemic. So yung mga TikTok jokes or like video joke in PE. Now you know. That's all.
Thank you so much, Miss Mia. And a question for Sir Arsenic. For offshore student, how does practicum work?
Sa MAN program po, ang practicum pwedeng gawin kung like for example sa kaso ko, may mga practicums akong ginawa sa Philippines kasi walang specialization yung hospital namin. And then kung may hospitalization yung hospital nyo, for example, cardiology, so pwede nyo gawin doon sa hospital nyo. For practicum in the Philippines, may binibigay naman ahead of time yung program chair namin ng schedule kung kailan gagawin yung mga practicums, and then ibubook nyo lang yung sarili nyo for that dates. And then syempre, tataon nyo yung bakasyon nyo. And may mga requirements din na kailangang i-accomplish during the practicum, for example, case studies, mga NCPs, projects, etc. And then sa practicum naman sa hospital offshore, kailangan lang maghanap ng clinical instructor. So yung clinical instructor kailangan may masters din, and then may mga requirements din naman na ibibigay yung program chair para mag-guide yung student kung paano yung magiging practicum outside the Philippines. And even yung clinical instructor mo ay magbibigyan din ng guide kung paano ka i-guide during the practicum. So yun lang, just communicate with your FIC kung paano, and the program chair kung paano yung maging practicum nyo if hindi kayo posibleng pumunta sa Philippines dahil may pandemic.
Thank you so much for that, Sir Arsenic. And this will be our last question. What is your advice with students who are overwhelmed by deadlines? Again, what is your advice with students who are overwhelmed by deadlines? Siguro magsimula tayo kay Miss Marcy.
Okay. Now I understand that I'm talking as someone from a graduate degree program, so that is on the way to MA. There's naming sinabi dito tungkol sa what's that? Pwedeng sumuka pero bawal sumuko. That's really it. Everyone has different ways of dealing with being overwhelmed by deadlines. There's the Pomodoro technique where you do 15 minutes, a little thing for each little task, so it feels less and less. I think you have to plot it carefully. I'm not sure about how other teachers do it, but what I can say from my own experience is that the task looks few. As in, let's say it's 3 projects and 1 final project or a final exam. But they do require you to go through the required materials. So it doesn't feel as overwhelming, but you did have to commit time and energy to do it, which I know does take more effort. Now, find your own ways to cope, but I think you have to stay dedicated to it. There's an idea, I have this thing called lockdown brain, and I know everyone has felt it. There is an emotional toll, so be very kind to yourself, but also be very true with what you can do and what you can't negotiate with. I think that's it. You have to own up to what you are able to do. It doesn't even have to be great. Do it with honor. Do it with the best that you can in what you're given in that instance. And know what you can't move. So that's
Thank
it.
you so much, Miss Marcy. How about Sir Arsenic? What is your advice with the students who are overwhelmed by deadlines?
Yung sa naging experience ko po, relax lang. I mean, darating talaga sa point na parang feeling mo wala nang pumapasok sa mga binabasa mo. I mean, parang yun nga, sinasabi natin sabaw yung utak. So, ganun talaga. Nangyayari talaga yun. So, don't be too hard on yourself. Mag-relax ka lang. Kung for example, nakita mo na after a week, ganun pa rin, then tingnan mo kung paano ka nagre-relax, kung ano yung mga bagay na sa tingin mo makakatulong sa'yo. And then, once na na-feel mo ulit na bumalik na yung drive mo to study, then balik ka ulit. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Thank you so much, Sir Arsenic. How about Case? What are your advice?
Medyo touchy
fellow
to.
students?
Medyo touchy to, pero first I would like to establish again, the professors know what they're doing, and if they set a deadline for that, trust them, trust me or trust them. as well na they've identified this as enough to make for to time for you to put that project to work. And if dumating sa point na na-overwhelm ka kasi in-ignore mo yung tasks mo, then that's on you. Pero if you're at the starting point and nakita mo yung projects mo na gagawin mo for like the week and na-overwhelm ka, well, the tip is isulat mo, i-list mo yung kailangan mong gawin. And for that specific projects, break it down to steps on how you would do it, and do it one by one. Because well, for my own experience, it works for me the best when I see that I'm getting progress. Like step one, read this material. Step two, make the plot points. Parang ganon. I would thrive in that part, and I think some of you might find that effective in their own type ways of studying. And yeah, and one thing is there are some kind of projects that would feel longer than they should be, and for that, don't try to stress yourself and to finish it in one sitting. Pay yourself to rest, and rest as much as rest as much as you could, like please, for your own benefit. And yeah, love what you're doing as well. Yun lang.
Thank you so much. I just want to read this comment from a student. Taga Palawan po siya and lagi daw nawawalan ng kuryente sa kanila. Sabi po niya dito, kaya kaming mga taga Palawan during introduction, nag-i-inform na agad kami na meron kaming ganito. Pero ang babait ng mga professors dito, sa mga new po dito, God bless sa journey. The best ang mga classmates, kasi diverse ang mga experiences and expertise. Kaya it is okay to reach out to your classmate. Thank you so much for that, Mr. RD. Okay, so salamat po sa ating mga speakers. And I know that you have been a good example of to our students, especially to our new students. And for all students that you still have, I know you have a lot of questions in your mind, especially the new students, okay? So we will be having a separate venue for that on September 18. Don't worry, we invited different representatives from different offices to answer your inquiries, okay? So we are close to the last part of our program for today. So before that, to give these greetings and message, let us all hear from the University of the Philippines Student Regent, Honorable Jan Isaac Punzalan.
Hello everyone! We want to welcome each and every one of you here at UP Open University. I hope all of you are safe and well together with your families. As we enter the most challenging year for UP in recent history, it is undeniable that we are unified by a goal, and that is to ensure accessible and quality education for everyone. We are entering the most historic academic year for UP, not only because we are currently facing a pandemic, but also because we are trying to do to the best of our abilities to offer initiatives and efforts, our talents and skills, and our knowledge to serve the general public or the Filipino people. And even though UP Open University is known to be given a lot of recognition of being the cyber university and the future of UP because of its technological advancements and your mode of learning, we cannot deny the fact that you are also facing a lot of challenges, both personal and as a nation. So I'm here and I want to say to you that your fellow students are ready to help you. Your faculty, your teachers are here to guide you. And hopefully, as we continue to battle this pandemic together, we find ways on how we will be able to show solidarity as a UP community as we try to continue our education amid this extraordinary situation. So I hope that amid the so many uncertainties that we are facing right now, I hope that you are also enlightened by the fact that there is one certain thing that we can grasp onto, and that is our determination to fight together and see how much we can do in trying to defend our right to education, our right to healthcare, for medical and economic solutions, and just for the well-being of the masses in our country. So I hope you continue to be safe. This is it for now, and yeah, I hope we see each other soon. I hope you guys see the need also to try and run for candidacy when the elections for the UPOU Student Council comes up. And yes, I hope everyone stays safe, and I hope to see you soon again. So, mabuhay ang ating mga cyber isko at iska, mabuhay ang pag-asa ng bayan.
Thank you so much, Honorable John Isaac Punzalan, our student regent. So before we close, just a quick reminder. I know every one of you have Facebook account, and we have a new profile pic frame, and you can try this out. So just log into your FB account and click add frame on your profile picture and look for the UPOU Scholar ng Bayan profile pic frame. So ito siya. So you can try it again. You must try this. And for all you students, again, we will be having a separate activity on September 18, 2020 to raise and clarify your inquiries and concerns to the different offices and support services provided by the UP Open University. Invitation will be sent on your respective emails. And that sums up our activity for today. I would like to thank all of our officials, our students who are with us today, and I hope that you are all fired up to pursue your dreams with our beloved university. Mabuhay ang Scholar ng Bayan!